Hi, this is Rabbi Weinberg. I'm here with a new edition of the most pressing questions in life. The deepest mysteries unraveled through the wisdom of God in the Torah, passed down over 3,333 years with the Jewish rabbis and sages. Authentic wisdom straight from basically God himself as it came through him to Moses, and the tradition continued. A special edition for the B'nai Academy, bringing the wisdom of God, the Torah, to the entire world. We've got a very special question for you today. The question that on one level is in the back of each and every one of our minds. And how do we increase in love, in peace, in happiness, in unity, and decrease in hate, and also the worst form of hate, which is actually self-hate, depression, anxiety, and war. Make something better automatically. This is a big principle of Judaism and Jewish mysticism, and that is that a little bit of light banishes a lot of darkness. So if we could just figure out how to increase the light, as Rabbi Nachum Mendel of Kotsk said, that what's the difference between a lover of love or a hater of hate, a lover of truth or a hater of falsehood? They seem very similar, but they're exactly the opposite, because the lover of truth doesn't rest until he understands the truth. The lover of love doesn't rest until they discover love. But when unfortunately we're in a state of fear or negativity, anger, what often happens is we tend to look at the negative instead of seeing the positive. But the more positive we see, automatically the world that we're looking at is a beautiful world. So the key is finding out not how to decrease. The other day here we are in Sfat, one of the most beautiful cities in the world, and special thank you to our cameraman Rav Moshe, all the way from the former Soviet Union and now studying here, married in Sfat. And the idea is that how do we actually build a world of love and safety and unity? And there was a young people from all over the world coming. There was a young girl from Australia, and I asked her, what's the most pressing question of the time? And this is very, very relevant, because many times we have theories that they seem to be righteous, but they're actually not focused on the positive, they're focused on the negative. And she gave me one of kind of the, I don't want to label anything, but one of these newfangled theories of what life is all about. And it's this injustice and that injustice, but if all we're focusing on is injustice, we haven't solved the way to get to love, unity, and peace and joy, which that creates. And the simple answer to have love, unity, and joy begins with your own self. And this is the final message of the Lubavitch Rebbe, Rabbi Schneerson, one of the greatest rabbis of all time. And what he taught us is that the first way to create universal love is starting off with the relationship that you have between you and God. Now, as Aristotle says, it's also brought down in Jewish mysticism, love is one soul and two bodies. We just had a Torah portion where Jacob took a whole bunch of stones and he put them around his head. And miraculously, the next morning, they were all one stone. The great rabbi once said, what's the message of many stones becoming one? He said the real way for there to be unity is you don't begin with the fact that we're separate. You begin with the fact that we're actually the same. We just inhabit different spaces. And that's why the Rambam, one of the greatest masters, said, why do families have greater unity than, say, strangers? Because they know they share a common bond, they share a common blood. So once we understand what it is that we share in common with each other, then we have greater unity. So let's first of all create unity within ourselves. Hardly can we have love and joy and unity in the world if we don't have it in ourselves. And we ourselves are made up mainly of 5 parts. The inner essence of everyone and everything is God. And that's our conscious, our soul that gives us life. But then that soul comes into a mind, and we all have an independent mind, a unique way we look at the world. And then that mind turns into emotions. We have feelings, we have memories, maybe, God forbid, traumas or even addictions. We have various different emotions that we've developed over time. And then we also have a ego, which is the sense of pride and shame that exists within us. Now, if we were to put all of this together as a single entity, what would we say? We would say that the God in me, my conscience, my convictions, should be the leader. It's like a person driving a car. If you're driving the car, that's good. If the car is driving itself and it doesn't have directions, that's very bad. I often ask young people, tell me, if you were on a boat, you had everything you wanted except for one thing, directions, how would you feel? And that's the boat a lot of people are on in this world today. They don't feel like they have a direction to life. So the very first thing to create inner peace is to have inner purpose. You have to understand that everyone and everything in this universe was created by one God to serve Him. It has a very wonderful, important, realistic goal for it to achieve. I am a Jew. God gave me 613 commandments. A Gentile has 7 Noahide laws. I'm a male. I have to act as a good father, a good husband, and a good community member. If a person's a female, obviously, ideally, a good wife, a good mother, a good sister, and within the context of whether the 7 Noahide laws or whether in the context of the Jew, each one of us has a special purpose. Even a tree. If a tree wanted to be a person, the world wouldn't have oxygen. It has a very special mission. And once we appreciate that nobody can be like anyone else, the uniqueness of God is that everyone is unique and everyone complements each other. So when we appreciate our own value as a human being, and that this whole world needs me, there's nobody like me in the world, and there's only one of me. That's why the Rebbe says each one of us has a special mission, and we really have to work hard to discover, what is my great gift? What is my great talent? And write to us. Tell us what you think it is. We'll be happy to interact with you. You can go to my website, KabbalahWisdom.org. I'll be happy to answer questions. Easier name to remember is KabbalahLove.org. So, in conclusion, the way we have peace and happiness and love and joy, it comes from, instead of feeling torn between the different parts of ourselves, oh, I like cheesecake, I like God, I like this, I like that, know that you are part of a big story. History is His story, and you have a starring role. And your role is to figure out what your role is, but even if you don't know your specific role, you could know that you have already been chosen. The very fact that you're born, as a great scientist once told me, the chances of any of us existing is minimal. The chances of the DNA shaping you is just a miracle. DNA is like 5,000 books packed into this size. So we're all miracles, and we're part of a big story. And then when we take responsibility, this is the other big factor. If we don't care for one another, we don't think that it's my job, ultimately we don't feel good. We feel good only when we're giving. But when we feel it's my job to share everything I know, and none of us know everything, but we all know something, but we take responsibility to share that and to teach that, and then we literally have world peace, because we all know that we're a piece of the world, and the world is a better place because of us. We share, we care, and in this way, the many parts are actually part of one great whole. Thank you so much for watching. You may need to look at this a couple of times. So instead of the brain looking at ourselves as separate, we're actually all those special rocks, beautiful parts of a diamond in the crown of God. Thank you so much.